means I can't see you all, which makes this slightly easier. Okay, we're all here tonight to celebrate St Rocco's, and we've all got our own personal reasons for doing this. So do I. When I was first asked to speak to you all this evening, I must admit I was a little nervous at the prospect of standing here and sharing my family story. But after discussions with Mark, my husband, my brother Simon, and my incredible dad, I knew that our story needed to be told. So, put very simply, my mum, and card, brave and beautiful. My mum was first diagnosed with breast cancer in 1995. She underwent radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and had a full mastectomy. She recovered and she lived life to the full, the centre of our universe, determined and with a strength that continues through us. Following a trip to London in 2010 to watch my brother Simon complete the London Marathon, she had some aches and pains, and rightly so visited the GP. It was back. Secondary breast cancer in her hips, pelvis and femurs, with a small dot on her liver. She received further treatment including chemotherapy every 3 weeks, frequent blood transfusions and bone strengthening medication. Over the next 4 years, she started on that bucket list, including visits to Paris and Australia, and finally watching her son get married at the Ritz in London. It was during these 4 years that she became involved with the Vitality Centre at St Rocco's, and our lives were changed forever. She was visited at home initially for hand and foot massage, which supported her relaxation and helped her to focus on living with a terminal illness. As time moved on, she began visiting the hospice for craft activities, massage and just to chat. We knew as a family that this support was invaluable for her. Being able to share her feelings with other people in similar situations enabled her to come to terms with what was happening. In September 2014, my mum and dad were given the news that there was no more magic medicine in that cupboard. On the 1st of October 2014, my mum's 69th birthday, she went to bed, and that was where she remained until the 17th of October, when our family were wrapped in the warmest hug you could possibly imagine, St Rocco's. My mum was admitted to St Rocco's for end-of-life care, and I believe my family were admitted too, for forever care. The staff, every one of them, treated us with compassion, respect and love. My mum and dad, having been married for 46 years, had never been apart. My mum was my dad's confidence, his rock, his reason for creating daily temperature charts, medication records and making sure she took her chalk tablets. He had to let go, to let someone else take over. However, the dignity and grace my mum was able to keep in those final days comforted my dad in a way we couldn't. We were there every day, my dad all day, eating copious amounts of cake and drinking bottomless cups of tea, joking with staff when my brother was removing nail polish and giving my mum a manicure. She kept her sense of humour and her smile, reassured by all she came into contact with. During that time, my young son was welcomed with open arms. He had been on this journey with his grandma too, and it was only right that their journey together continued. He was made welcome, loved visiting the shop, checking out what cakes were on offer and exploring the gardens. He also raised over £2,500 for St Rocco's by completing the first lantern walk while his grandma was in the hospice. My mum's journey came to an end on the 29th of October 2014, but our journey continues. In 2020, at the height of the COVID pandemic, my dad received the news that he had skin cancer. This was dealt with swiftly, and he still remains clear. However, this, combined with the isolation of living alone in a pandemic, my husband having received a kidney cancer diagnosis in January 2019, and my brother living in Australia with their borders closed for many months took its toll on my dad. Earlier this year, we encouraged him to seek help. Guilt that remained from losing his best friend, my mum, needed to be addressed. That's when St Rocco's became our safety net once again. The bereavement cafe became a source of support. It gave him the chance to talk about my mum, to be upset, and not to feel guilty. It has given my family, our dad and granddad, back. He sings, he always has, and with the St Rocco's choir, he has his voice back too. St Rocco's is our hospice. It's Warrington's hospice. A ray of hope in the darkest moments. A special place with incredibly special people. Thousands of families have received support from it, and you're here tonight to secure that support for many more families. I thank you, my dad thanks you, and my now not so young 15-year-old son Jackson thanks you. Each of the sequins and all of your sparkle represents a family that has been touched and wrapped up in that hug, the warm blanket that is St Rocco's Hospice. It's been an absolute privilege to have been asked to speak to you all tonight. Thank you so much for listening and made it all the way through.